I think we're live. This is going to take a second because it is a new computer, so we need to mess with audio a bit. There we go. Let's see if this is something I can hear. Okay, look, I think audio is okay. Well, it's a miracle. Okay, let me get rid of that screen then. No one needs to see that. So tonight I am working on thanks Heather, I'm actually not recording this one because it's just being done with Photoshop. But what I'm doing tonight is showing you how I come up with my design process for surreal work. Now, sometimes with surreal work, I don't do this. Like if I'm working in acrylics, I can just kind of layer things in and change things easily if I don't like something. But with colored pencils, you really can't do that. You've got to know exactly where everything's going to go beforehand. And so this is what I do with that. With acrylics, depending on what I'm doing, sometimes I'll get a generalized idea with this. But like the lion that I did, very similar to what today's project is going to be, or the next piece, the lion, I was able to Photoshop, or I actually just sketched out approximately where the lion was going to go, where the coral was going to go, but I just kind of did the coral as I went along. I can't do that here. I have to know exactly which coral I'm going to use and where to put that. So let's go ahead and get started here. This is actually one of the photos I took yesterday at the aquarium, and it's one of my favorites. So those of you on Patreon, you've got this photo. One of my absolute favorites. So I like the anemone. I have a feeling I'm going to include that somewhere in this. But what I need to do first is go ahead and start a project file. So I know that I'm going to do this as a 16 by 20. I'm not positive if it's going to be portrait or landscape. Probably portrait. So I'm going to go ahead and start that way. So I'm just going to set this to inches. We're going to go 20 inches wide, 16 high, and that all looks fine. Actually, let's up the resolution just a bit. How long do I think this will take? I probably won't finish my whole design tonight. I will hopefully get the majority of it done, but I'll probably, the live stream tonight goes for 2 hours, but I doubt that I'll get this finished. The project itself is going to be it'll be a couple of weeks. So like, part one, for patrons, those of you who are on Patreon are like, which video are we getting this week? Hopefully you'll get the airbrushed background, how I block everything out so that I can airbrush it, and then I'm going to start Penny the cat. And actually, let's go ahead and pull Penny in here because we know that she is going to be the main focus. Let's go ahead and pull. Now this cat, and actually most of the reference photos I'm using today, this comes from Tang over at Tidal Gardens. He has a YouTube channel here. He sells coral and has a channel that teaches you how to take care of your coral and aquariums and stuff like that. I met him at Aquashella, and that is how this whole project got started. And I've got links all in the video description if you want to check out Tidal Gardens. And he actually, I need to show you guys this. This is really cool. Let's get the cat the right size first. Okay, Penny, you may have to be adjusted a bit more, but we'll start there. Tidal, he is now, if you're a patron, I signed up for $5 a month, and look at all of these coral reference photos. Every day during the week, you get a new, like 1 or 2, I forget how many, I think 2, reference photos of different corals, which they're really high resolution. Let's see, so you guys can see that. Really amazing. So especially for colored pencil artists, I think when you're looking for that super high detail, you want to get all those little bits in there, you're not going to find better photos than these. These are incredible. So yeah, and I've got links to that in the video description too. If you are looking for more coral reference photos and you get royalty-free rights to use this in your artwork, obviously not, you can't print the photo itself, but for your artwork to copy and put into that, you've got rights to do that. So really exciting. Okay. So let's go ahead and minimize that for now. Let's get Penny situated how I want her and cropped out. I have no idea what background I'm going to do on her. I have a lot to figure out on this one. Actually, with that soft background, I think versus just cutting it out, I think we'll just cut out part of the background for now. And then I'm going to come back through with an eraser. I don't have all my Photoshop brushes installed on this computer yet, so we're just going to kind of get a generalized idea here. So let's cut this out. A lot of her floof will be covered with coral. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, let me show, oops. Let's fix that. Okay, now I can delete that. So the photo that I'm kind of basing the theme of this on, it won't be exact, but it's going to be, let's go. Most of you guys, I'm sure, have seen this, but it's going to take a minute to search. Kevin said, came back to painting. One part has too much acrylic paint piled on it and it feels almost rubbery. Can I sand it back down? Yeah, you can sand acrylic. Depending on the paint, you may get some weird results, but yes, it absolutely can be done. It just, I can't guarantee it'll be the best results depending on the paint. I've done it with Liquitex Basics without any problems though. Okay, so this is kind of what we're going with Penny. So she's going to have around, and she's got so much floof around, she's almost got a bane too, so it makes it perfect. But she's going to have coral around her neck and then some fish around. Now, it's not going to be her full body, obviously. It's going to be zoomed in more around her face. But this is really where we're going with this design process. And this one was done in acrylics, whereas Penny's going to be done in colored pencil. So it'll still look like a painting. So let's go ahead and come back to Penny. So let me get rid of that. Now, the next thing that I'm going to do is just come back through on, I'm going to use my Wacom tablet and erase around her edges because she is, it is out of focus around the edges, which is perfect. You guys know how I love that look where you've got it to where it fades out. So let's go ahead and switch over. I apologize if you can't hear me. I'll try to do this quickly because my mic is over here. Wacom tablet's over here. I didn't plan this out well. So I'm going to erase this. And let's go soft. This way I can keep it nice and soft by using this. We're going to lose our whiskers, but we'll paint or draw those back in later. Whoops. So I'm just using the eraser tool and the pen. Just get a generalized. And this lets me keep her edges soft, which is why I'm not just cutting her out normal. This girl's got quite a mane on her. This will all be covered mostly with coral, but that gives me something to go with. Okay, the next thing I need to do is figure out the background, and I think I'm just going to go with a dark gray. Something very similar to what I did on the lion. Tasha said, I think it might be nice if she had a soft mossy waterfall behind her. Possibly, and see, that's the cool thing about this. I can come through, put all the coral where I want it, the fish, and I can change the background. I'm not like stuck with whatever background I test on this. I'm going to be able to play around and get some ideas. Maybe we'll try a waterfall and see what it looks like. Whatever it's going to be behind her needs to be out of focus or very soft. That will be airbrushed, so I need to keep that in mind. So let's go ahead and I'm just going to drop a gray, maybe a gradient, just something behind her. So let's go with, actually, I want a new layer all the way. New fill layer. Solid color, sure. Let's go with that. I know it's going to need to be dark, so let's just pull that in. I'm going to drop that right behind her. So this gives me just a base. Now, whether or not I stay with this color, I have no idea, but at least I have an idea of where, you know, colors that contrast-wise, I know that I want the background to be fairly dark so that the highlights on her face will stand out a lot. I'm really excited to draw her with a colored pencil with her fur and the highlights. And I'll pull in with her, too, a lot of the purples and blues that you don't see in the reference photos. If you've seen me draw, well, many of you have, like the black leopard that I did, gosh, that's been a couple of years now, used a lot of purples and blues for the highlights. And that's what I'm going to do on her. And it's really going to tie the colors of the corals together with her very well. Let's see, have I done any animal or digital art? I'm a new fan, so if you talked about it in earlier videos, I would know. Yes, actually, I can show you really quick before we start. Let's find my digital paintings. I've shared some, these are on social media. I think these are the files I did. Those aren't great. Where's the other one? Nope, that's not what I'm looking for. Well, this is taking longer than I thought it would. I thought I could just grab it really quick. Yep, that's not it. Digital. See, it should be in this folder. Is it not? Oh, it is. Okay. This would be an example of one that I did digitally. Where's the other one? I like how that one came out. That's a digital painting I actually did on this Wacom tablet here. So, yeah, Those are, and I'll be doing more videos with some digital paintings in the future now that this computer can actually handle Photoshop without lagging every time I touch my Wacom tablet. So that will be something we do soon. Okay, so my next step on this is going to be to start putting coral in. Let's see. We have Elaine said, I asked graphite artists on Facebook what they charged for matted 8x10 work, and price ranges were all over. I'm assuming the price should be less than paintings. What's your suggestion? Yeah, most people aren't going to pay quite as much for graphite as they will like an oil or an acrylic painting. But it's so hard to say price-wise because it's going to depend on, I mean, like colored pencil takes me longer than an oil or acrylic painting. So I charge more for colored pencil work than I do for the same size in an oil or acrylic. So part of that is time. And for me, graphite work, I can get done very quickly compared to some of the other mediums. So yeah, I don't typically charge as much for those. But I mean, there's just so many factors that it's really hard to give you advice on what you should charge there. That's definitely a hard one. I mean, it comes down to what kind of a reputation you've built. Like, and for me, I think more people know me for my colored pencil work than they do for my oil and acrylic. So it makes sense that that's one more bonus as far as me being able to charge a bit more for that for the size. The price per square inch that I charge for colored pencil is more than for oils or acrylics. But for graphite, it's less. For me, I go down, I really factor in how much time I put into having to get those finished. Okay. Hi, Rory. Okay, let's see. Next are corals. We need to just start picking out which ones that I wanted. And I've got a lot of fish photos that I took myself, so that's going to be helpful. From yesterday. I took a lot of photos yesterday. That was not fun to edit. There were so many. I mean, it was fun to look at them all, but oh my gosh, I didn't think I'd ever finish. So we have, let's see. Oh, I like this guy. Let's drag this guy over, and I need to move him up. You're not going to move up until oh, there we go. So one of the things that's really cool about these photos too is I can just use the magic wand. All of his backgrounds are black, so it's really easy to do this design. Oh, I'm not on the right photo. Not that one. This one. Let's go ahead and there we go. So now I can use the magic wand on that and just click it and delete. Black portions are gone. It's so, compared to like where I had to do the cutting out for around Penny, this is way easier. Now I'm going to end up pulling a few more out here. Actually, I think I'll just erase that versus cutting them. Where is my eraser tool? I lost it. There we go. Okay, so let me grab my pen and I'm just gonna pull some of these. Am I erasing the wrong thing? Oh, I should hit the right buttons. This version of Photoshop is different than what I'm used to, so I'm going to be screwing things up a lot tonight. Have fun watching that. Let's see. Just going to remove a few of these, get a nice shape. And I'll have to go through with a pencil once I get these together, because you can see I'm going to be cropping quite a bit around the edges. I will come back through when I draw this in, like for real on the artwork, with a pencil and make sure that those are all refined before I hit the colored pencil to the paper. So let's go ahead and shrink that down. And now I can figure out where that might look good. And I don't know if I am going to need quite so many of these. Probably going to trim some of this off. Let's see. Which areas do I want? You know what? I'm just going to leave it like that, and as I layer, I can crop it. She's going to have a mane just like the lion, which is kind of fitting for this girl. Too far upside down. I don't like that. Actually, with the highlights on this may look good around her outer edge. So what I can do is pull this in here. I'm going to drop this behind her for now and see what it looks like once I get a few more corals in, because I may put this to where her face is. Oh, that may look good. Actually, okay, we'll do this. So what I'm going to do, can you tell I change my mind constantly? I'm going to make that layer really translucent, And I'm going to erase portions of it now that I can see around her mouth. So I think this is going to go right under, and now when I make it more opaque again, pull the opacity back up. So this kind of goes under her chin. That may work because the contrast between the dark in her face and that area of her mane may work. We'll find out. And this is the great thing. If I don't like it, I just take it out. It's no, like if I'm not committed to anything yet. And so this is a really, if you're using Photoshop, it's a really, really good way to experiment with things and find out what's going to look good. Okay, let's see. What coral should we go with next? I like these guys a lot. I definitely want to get, there were some rainbow recordias. These ones for sure I need to use. Let's pull those in now. I have some of these in my fish tank. They're so pretty. Okay, let's pull, oops, I always forget this stage. There we go. Now I can delete that. Now there's a good chance there's a bit of, it looks like live rock attached to, or that the mushrooms are on. I probably won't include that. I don't know. We'll find out. I'm going to leave it for now though. And then I'm just going to hit Control T so that I can adjust the size. And I'm going to leave these guys pretty big just because it's going to be easier to do detail. She's going to be wearing basically a coral necklace. Maybe something like that. Let's see, Rory said, so will this be similar to the lion with the coral, and what medium are you using? Yes, so it'll be very similar to this guy, and this is going to be in colored pencil this time, which is why I have to design exactly where every single coral is going to go first before I ever draw it out, because I can't layer quite the same in colored pencil that I can in acrylics. Okay. Let's see, what do we want next? Ooh, these are pretty, really bright though. Maybe get some of these zoas in. I definitely want to include some zoas. Ooh, 2 zoas that I really like. Let's grab these guys. Oh my gosh, so many zoas. We're going to be putting a bunch of these in. Let's do this, and we will go ahead and delete this. Now, if you are using these reference photos, remember that these corals, they're sold, most of them are going to be on a plug or a frag plug, and that's what this little white piece is down here. So I need to cut that out. I don't need to do a good job on this. I just need to get it mostly out. I'm probably going to layer stuff over it anyway. So we're going to remove that. Don't want to include that in the artwork. Okay, and let's shrink this down. Hey, Than from Tidal Gardens, this is his cat, Penny, and his coral is here with us tonight. Yeah, he took all of these, well, him and some, I don't think Than took all of the photos. I think if there's somebody else that takes some of them too, if I remember correctly. I'm probably not going to pull the fur on her chest out quite as much as it is in the reference photo, because I think in the artwork it'll look like I overdid that. So I'll probably thin her out just a bit with the fur there. And let's see, we can reposition those a bit. And I can adjust the colors on these too. I don't have to stay with these colors. Once I actually start working on it, that's something I may hype up contrast on a bit more. Let's see, what else do we want next? I was really excited. Ooh, these ones for sure. These are gorgeous. I have to actually delete or erase on my own though. No easy magic wand button for this color. Let's see, I need the eraser. Let's switch to the Wacom tablet. Oops, I always forget this stage. No, you are fine. You should be erasing. Oh, okay, there we go. I'll just pull that out real quick. If you don't have a Wacom tablet, you don't have to use that to do what I'm doing with editing. For years, I did the same type of editing just by cutting things out with my my mouse, my normal mouse. So don't feel like if you don't have that set up that you can't do this. You absolutely can. Make these guys a bit smaller. I'm probably going to drop them behind the mushrooms. Meh, I don't know on that one. See, this is what I love. I can decide what goes in front, what goes in the... I can play around with this way before I make mistakes on my actual artwork. Dan said, hi, Lisa. This is already full of useful tips on composition setup. Thank you for doing this one. Can't wait to see you draw this one. Thank you. And yeah, I can't wait either. I'm actually really, really looking forward to this one. Like, a lot. I cannot wait to get started. I probably won't start the background or the airbrushing and such till tomorrow night, and I'm super excited about it. Jen said, where would you recommend beginning to sell artwork for the first time? eBay, art festivals, etc. I'd start with eBay. eBay I had really good results with when I used to sell it. Now, I don't know if that's changed over the years because I haven't done it in a while. It just takes time to upload and such. But eBay really did work out very well for me. So that would be my recommendation, is to go ahead and start there. The art festivals are a lot of work, and you may end up investing more money than you think for how little you might get back. And I felt like eBay was just a really good way to kind of put your feet in the water, toes in the water. I don't know how that saying goes. Oops, that wasn't what I meant to do. I am not on the right coral here. And actually, you know what? I should probably start renaming some of these. I only know the names of some of them. Let's see. You need to be renamed. You, I believe, are the purple zoas. That's not their official name. It's just what I'm going to call them. And then we've got you. And this is something that I'm so bad about, but I really should be doing more. There are the rainbow recordias. And then you are the, oh, maybe I should have called those ones violet. You are going to be, we'll call you lavender. I don't think I spelled lavender right. There we go. And what are these? Are these, I don't even know what these guys over here are. I don't remember the name of those. Anyone know the name of those? I don't know what to call them. Let's call them unknowns. I can't think of the name of them right now. Okay. So that's going to make it easier for me to know which layer I'm on. And we had the recordias I wanted to delete a bit of. Okay, let's get that. Those yellows sure pop out a lot on her. I'll probably tone those down just a bit where it meets the black there. Ursi said it would look good to transform the coral piece photos by warping them around the cat. You can warp the, yeah, you can warp it. The way that corals grow and such, you really don't need to warp them. It's gonna work just fine how it is. Duncans. Okay, thank you. So they are no longer unknowns. They are probably Duncans. We're gonna go with that. That is a coral I have never had. Okay, next. We need more. There was, ooh, definitely want to include some of the acroporas. Those ones. What else do we have in here? Decisions. So many options. And what I'll do, and you'll see this in a bit, I'll adjust the lighting, especially around the back of Penny, so that they get a little bit darker, so that it's not just glowing all the way around her because of the way the light source is. I think it'll look better. But the great thing is I get to try that before I find out I was wrong on the artwork. Oh, definitely going to use these guys. Oh, that's going to be a pain in the butt. Actually, it won't be, I don't think, that much of a pain to draw, because this is going to be not as large as the other colored pencil piece I did of a similar type of coral. It'll be smaller, so I can kind of get away with just putting dots all over the place for some of the highlights there. So let's get you. That, and rename you. Whoops, nope, that's not the right button. Hot pink acropora, does that sound about right? Oh, that's what I'm calling them. Let's see. Whoops, that's the wrong layer. Undo. That layer. One of the things on the current version of Photoshop now this is on Windows 10, so I don't know if that's what the difference is, but there are certain things, it's definitely easier than what I'm used to, but it's also not what I'm used to, and so I keep, it switches layers way easier. It does things that I'm not expecting it to. It's been throwing me off a bit. Let's see. That is going to be way too big for her. Let's shrink that a bit. That may work for the back. I'd have to darken it a lot if I put it there, but it may work. And see, now I would know too, if this is what I go with around the back here, I'm going to need to probably switch these bright purple zoas with the orange around them. They don't really work next to that. So this coral, let's go ahead and shrink it a little bit more. I'm going to move these guys. Let's see what happens if I see. Now those stand out better, and then I can stick these. See, and this is the sort of thing with the design process that makes it so much better. Yeah, if I drew it all out in graphite first, it would look like everything works as far as the balance size-wise and such. But I wouldn't have known that color-wise that wasn't going to stand out until I made that choice, switched them around, try it on. Okay, what other coral should we put in here with her? And again, if you guys like these reference photos, if you go over to Tidal Gardens, their Patreon page, oh my gosh, so these are all from there that I'm looking at now. Let's see. You get a lot of reference photos for that $5 a month. A lot. Let's put one of these torches in. Let's see what, maybe a blue one. Let's try the blue. So we're going to do the same thing. I'm going to remove, whoops, I've got to do the step I keep forgetting to do. Whoops. Why are buttons so hard? There we go. Let's see. Miriam said, hello, Lisa. Yay, corals. I agree. Yay, corals. I know it does look like she's wearing a coral lace. So this one's going to be a bit different because the lion, it looked like that was more his mane was just made out of coral. She kind of looks more like she's wearing a coral necklace, which, it can work. I'm okay with this. I think that's pretty cool too. Yeah, corals are a bit complicated. They're just because they're detailed. It's not that they're hard, because you don't have to be exact. There's so many different corals. Someone would just think it was a different variety. So there's no big deal there. It's just that they're very tedious as far as time consuming, so time consuming. But if you've got the patience for it, they're actually easy in that sense. Roy said, is there a specific colored pencil and paper you use on these unique drawings? For this one, I'm going to use some of my old Fabriano Artistico Extra White Hot Press 140-pound watercolor paper. Although I might have some new arches in the big sheets. I'll probably use the Fabriano. I'll probably use a thick piece of the Fabriano, the 300-pound. And just because I still have some and it'll work for the amount of blending and airbrushing I have to do on this. And then for the pencils, I'm going to use a combination of Polychromos, Luminance, Derwent Lightfast, and Derwent Drawing. Let's see. Viva said, after around 3 years of watching your videos, I finally decided to dip my toes into colored pencil. Would getting the 12 set of Polychromos pencils be smart? Sorry I've asked before. Don't apologize for asking. It doesn't, if it's been asked before, it's totally fine. The 12 set, yeah, it's a good start. It's a good way to start. You can do a lot. If you learn to blend and mix from 12 pencils, you're not going to have any trouble with color blending later on. One of the problems that I think a lot of people have, and especially with colored pencil, you get a set of 120. Now, I always say get the biggest set you can afford. But what happens sometimes is artists will get this set of 120 colors or 100, whatever set you get, that has all these colors, and it's like, now what? Which one do I choose? And they don't necessarily learn how to mix color. Like, this is what happens when blue and yellow go together. You get green. They may not know that because they've never had to try to mix things like that. With the 12 set, you are going to learn to mix and blend really, really well. So no, it's a great way to start. Double check with the 12 set though, that it comes with a white pencil. If not, the white Polychromos isn't my favorite just because it's not super opaque. Go get like a Derwent Drawing Chinese white or a Luminance white. Some wax-based white pencil will make your life a lot easier. Okay, let's see. So back to this one. Now I can go ahead and, am I on the right one? Oh, let's change the name. I'm going to call it a blue torch. I know that's not what it's called. I'm probably making Than cringe right now. Let's see. You can go, and you can go, and you can go. We'll get rid of a few more of these around the edges. Another thing that I really like about designing this way is I'm less likely to make choices based off what's going to be easier. Once I get started on the work and I've drawn one or two of these corals, I'm going to try, I have a tendency to start choosing the easiest that I, like the things that I think I can do faster. And that's not necessarily the best choice for your artwork. So when I design in Photoshop, I find that I get more brave on like how long it's going to take me to do things, so I don't end up cutting corners just to save time. So that's really helpful. I don't care if this is perfect. I just need to get a generalized cutting this out. Actually, that I wouldn't even include. You get cut out all the way there. That is good. I'm just cutting the base of that coral because I know I wouldn't include that in the artwork. So let's shrink that guy down. I think he'd look cool around the back end here. I'm going to drop that back behind the Duncans. Yep, I'm liking that. So she gets her poofy little neck, and I'm going to erase a little bit here. Whoops, that's not what I meant to do. That isn't the right button at all. Okay, let's go back to the Wacom tablet. Okay. Okay, I'm liking that one. Let's see, what is next? Ooh, we have to include a feather duster. This is something I still want for my tank. I just haven't gotten that far yet. Let's change that name. And now again, just using the magic wand tool to pull out all of the black. I'm going to pull this out as well. I don't need whatever is down here below the feather duster. These guys are actually really fun to paint. We'll see if they're as fun in colored pencil as they are in acrylics. So now we're going to change the size of that. Joseph said, can you hide all layers except the one you want to delete the black on? You can hide all layers except the one you want to delete the black on. Go to select tool, select color range, then hit the black, then okay, then delete. Yeah, that sounds complicated. I'm gonna have to pick your brain on that a bit later, because right now my brain is not understanding what you're saying to me. I am definitely not a Photoshop expert by any sense of the imagination. I kind of hobble my way through it. So yes, I would be glad for more advice. Ooh, yes, he's gonna stick out up here, I think. I'm gonna make him kind of little, or where do I want him? I haven't decided where he's going yet. He has to be little if he's up by the face. Baby jellyfish. Yes, I'm definitely going to include some jellyfish. We'll have some jellyfish, and some just fish in general will be around her. Patty said, any recommendations for good watercolor pencils? Bought some cheap, crappy ones in the first discount store, and they're cheap and crappy for some reason. Let's see. I love the Derwent watercolor pencils. Those were the first that I used that I really liked. I love them. I've got the Caran d'Ache watercolor that I love. I've got on the way, they should actually be here any day, the Faber-Castell watercolor pencils as well. They're all bright. I don't remember the names of things. Those ones I know will be good. I haven't used them yet, but I'm sure that those will be good. But I know for certain of the ones that I've tried so far, I love the Derwent. Now, the Derwent doesn't have as many light fast colors as the Caran d'Ache, but I'll sell the work with that anyway, so it's no big deal. But yeah, both, as far as performance wise anyway, I loved the Derwent ones. Felt more like a watercolor pencil to me, whereas the Caran d'Ache felt more like a gouache pencil, more opaque watercolor, much more opaque than the Derwent, whereas Derwent felt like true watercolor with the transparency. So if that matters to you, that may help you decide which one is better. And the Derwent is a lot cheaper. Yeah, Nick says with Photoshop, there's 100 different ways to do 100 ways to do everything. So true. And I think probably for me, most of the ways I do things are the hard way. Just because, like I said, I hobble my way along. It's just the way I've done things for years. Not because it's the right or the way that makes the most sense. I'm not liking this acropora back there. I'm going to have to, I kind of want to almost make that go behind her. We'll see. And part of it may just be this weird chunk in the middle, like proportion wise. We'll try some other ones. Oh, here's another one that may work better. Yeah, I bet that will be best. Let's go ahead and remove, oops. Change the name. And remove the black bits. Seriously, this is one of my favorite things about these reference photos. It is so easy to cut the background out, much more than any photos I've taken. And let's see. Miriam said, what is her name? The cat. Her name is Penny. JPC13 Art said, wow, now I see how useful Photoshop on a tablet can be. Dang, I really need to find a job soon. I'm too broke for this. Yes, get a job, save up. Do not, my biggest advice for you, or for any artist, don't put yourself into debt to get art supplies. It's a bad idea. But yes, get a job, save up. That is the way to do it. I'll probably put some more stuff in front of her. We'll see. I'm not convinced this is the right one either. Now, what I do when I decide that something is not how I want, or not what I'm going to use, actually, let's erase some of that real quick. Where did my eraser go? What I do when I decide something is not what I want, I just, hide it from that layer, or, make it so I can't see that layer, move it out of the way, but don't remove it from the project, because you may put other things in and realize it looks good somewhere else. Which is most likely what's going to happen with both of these. Something else would, yeah, I'm not loving this up here. I think I need something not so spiky looking. Let's see what else we've got. Ooh, this is pretty. This would be more for the front though. Let's see, deciding. Decisions are hard. And then I had the anemone I was kind of tempted to use on her. Decisions. What if the pink coral is downward instead? I can, but what happens, the light source on most of these is, kind of up here. So if I go, the light source changes, which isn't a huge deal. I can adjust for that, but we'll see on that. The green floofy one. You know what else? Okay, Nick wants the green floofy one. This one, that's algae. If that's the green floofy one you mean. Is this one the one you mean, Nick? Because I am not drawing that. That is a maze of, oh god, no. That goes in your filter chamber for removing nutrients and stuff from the tank. What other green floof are you talking about? There's a few green ones. Oh, this one's kind of pretty too. Oh, so's that. Man, too many decisions. Let's try this one. I have no idea what this one is. Let's move you forward. Am I not nope, I'm not doing the right button again. Buttons are hard. There we go. Okay, let's change your size. I feel like that one would be hard to make look good. It's almost so simple that it would make it more difficult. I have no idea what this guy's called. I'm calling him Bob. Okay, Bob, you need to move below the Recordias. That might, I don't know. Bob can sit there for a few minutes while I try to decide. Oh, that one's called an an acan. I'm calling you just an acan. Let's rechange Bob. Bob the acan. I'm not even going to try to say that. You're going to be acan Bob. Or Bob, yes. Okay, who else do we need in here? I can add, you know what might work back there too is the other torch. Let's try that. Here's the pink torch, or I don't know what their actual names are, so if anyone's watching this, don't act like I know what I'm talking about, because I don't. You'll end up sounding stupid if you try to repeat the random words that are coming out of my mouth. So, research this on your own. I know it's a torch. That's the extent of my knowledge. Okay, let's remove the black. Whoops, and I forgot the step again. Make Bob a hat? Maybe. I don't know. I don't know that, I feel like a hat would take away from the elegance of the design I'm going for. Maybe if Penny was a male, that would be... Although it kind of does look like a fancy lady hat, doesn't it? Okay, pull out the background of the torch here. Most of this is going to get covered anyway. Actually, I don't even probably need to cut this out because I think it's going behind everything where I'm going to try it. Click. There you go. What did I just try to delete? What layer am I on? Am I not on a layer? What in the world? There we go. Much better. I know I'd still have to delete some stuff, but let's stick that back there. Yeah, I have a... Whoops, that's not what I wanted to do. I have a feeling that's going to look better than Bob in that location. Yeah. Bob, you're going to have to go somewhere else. Nope, wrong layer. See, that's where I'm so not used to the way that the new version is, like their default for what I target. It's really odd. It's probably going to be easier once I get used to it, but it is screwing me up so far. Okay, and we're going to have to delete or erase some of that. Okay, let's see. You and the eraser. Okay. Ford Farm Studio said, yep, fancy lady hat. Might still be funny. Duplicate the layers and try it, and then you don't risk using where you place the original. I already moved the original, so that part I'm safe on. Okay, what is next? So we're just going to leave... I mean, at this point, Bob has to go somewhere, because he's got a name. You can't just leave Bob out of the painting. Actually... go down here. Yeah, this would be a much better location somewhere around here. So one of the things that I've got to watch when it comes to choosing coral is where does it look like you're looking at the edge of the coral? So like the Duncans back here, they look like they're folding around. I mean, because they would have been on their, whatever they're attached to right now. It looks like it works its way around towards her back, which is perfect. The torch was work on the outer edges because just the nature of those corals to me. It looks, you don't have a harsh edge. They're not as what is the word I'm looking for? Static? No. I don't know. I'm not good at words. So, but when I look at like these zoas, they look like you're looking at the front of them. So I want to put those at the front to where they're looking at the viewer. Same thing with the Recordia mushrooms. Don't look like they're bending around anything. So they look better if they're somewhere where they would be straight on at the viewer. So that's kind of one of the things that I'm looking for around the edges, or what corals look like they make sense to where they could be folding around her versus just a flat, just perspective wise. Heather said, that looks better on the back of her neck. Yeah, I'm liking that a lot better. Okay. And Bob is going to have to be readjusted, I'm sure, a bit more. But, actually, there we go. We've got a few options on where, ooh, kind of like Bob here. I don't know yet. I can't decide where you're going, Bob. We'll see. You can sit there for now. Get Baby Panda likes that torch there too. Okay, next corals. Now, I don't know if I'm going to actually include any of these guys because of their shape. I don't know if they're going to work real well at all. We'll just keep them to the side. So let's see. She doesn't need a whole lot more. I'm going to put these guys in. Now, these ones are acans, aren't they? Or, I don't know. I need a name. Name check? I don't know. I don't know. Yeah. Otherwise, they're going to get another people name. Ah, why is it so hard for me to remember to do this button? These actually may be too bright. If I use these, I'm going to have to adjust the color. I think they're too light for this piece. But I can easily use their shape and change their color a lot. So I'm just going to cut this out on my own. Can I put Bob behind her ear? Possible. No, not at that angle. It actually wouldn't work perspective-wise. That coral is a micro muso. Okay, this coral's name is now Mary. Mary, because there's no way I'm going to try to say that again. Okay, Mary, this is the frag plug now that I'm removing this portion here. I don't want to include that in the painting. I just want the coral. Ford Farm Studios said, so out of curiosity, considering this and the lion painting, is Davy Jones your favorite character in Pirates of the Caribbean? I don't know that I have. It's been so long since I watched. I don't think I have a favorite character. That's no help, huh? That was the most boring answer of any answer anyone ever gave on a live stream. So it looks like... Okay, I like their color may work on this because it balances out that pink torch in the back, but I do need to erase a bit more on these mushrooms. Let's grab the eraser. Yeah, I actually like their color. So see, here's another example. If I would have been drawing this on my own, I would have just naturally wanted to go darker. But now that I've seen what their original color looks like, it balances it out well. Like, Photoshop is one of the best things, I think, to happen to artists. Let's see. Tidal Garden says, it's okay, I struggled pronouncing your name for an hour on my live stream. My name's weird. It's not a real name. It's a made-up word. Okay. Ooh, what are these? Okay, name check again. Let's see if you can give it a name before I rename it something ridiculous. Let's pull the black out. Well, those are really pretty. I may have to adjust the color, though. They may be a little too fluorescent for this piece. We'll find out. I don't know. Maybe. Haven't decided. What if I turn the... Oops. Hit the... No, hit the right buttons. I don't know if this guy's going to work. He's neat looking, but so far he doesn't fit anywhere, so we'll stick you off to the side. Rainbow Brights. Oh, that's... that's not their actual name. Okay. Let's try something else. I need something, I think, a bit softer on the edge there. What are these? I have no idea what that is. But that doesn't look fun to draw. That looks like it would be so time consuming. I mean, it'd be fun to draw if that was the only one I was doing. But, you know, the lazy is starting to kick in, and I'm looking at that going, man, that would take a while. Let's try this one. Did it drag? No, it didn't drag. Why is this not dragging? Oh, because I've got this selected. Actually, okay, big lesson here. Before you, when you've gotten to this stage, make sure you save stuff, because it really sucks. It would really, really suck to have lost this at this stage. So let's go with... So now if my computer, what is this? Don't show this again, whatever. Turn on maximum. Turning off may interfere with whatever. Don't turn it off then. Why would I turn it off? I don't know what I just did. It is just gut-wrenching when you've put this much work into cutting things out, positioning them, and lightning or something hits and you lose power and you just lost the work, or just random computer errors. Make sure you save more often. Like, that's the first time I've saved on this piece. That is stupid. That's really, really dumb for me not to be saving it. I'd say every 5 minutes or so is what I try to be in the habit of doing. Let's see. Next. Okay, so I decided that guy's probably not going to last, so I don't even really need to name him. I don't think the colors are going to work with the look I'm going for. But I did... Ooh, mushrooms. I have to do mushrooms. Let's pull before I go with these ones. I had some photos, I think. Do I have any mushrooms in my saved? I think I took some yesterday. Let's look. These are photos I took yesterday. Let's scroll through these really quick. These are super crappy photos. When you compare these with the Tidal Gardens photos, there's a noticeable difference. But, you know, they work for reference. Let's see what I've got. Oh, little garden eels. Oh, maybe Penny needs a garden eel. Oh my gosh. That may have to happen. Penny's getting a garden eel for sure. Totally random. But anyway, just scrolling through these photos. Let's get to the... We're going to need jellyfish, but I can come back to those. Definitely getting one of these guys. Penny definitely needs one of these. Actually, as soon as I find a good position. I think he'd be the best. I think he was one of the best angles I got yesterday. Let's just open you in Photoshop too. Which one are you? 552. Whoops, scroll too... Yes, I scrolled too far. Where is 552? I'm just going to throw you up there because I'm probably going to use you later. Let's see. Super Evil Russian says, I just thought up a thing. Lasso has a feather one can adjust. Huh? I have no idea. Lasso has a feather. Okay. A brush with travel. Lindy said, would you consider repeating one or more of the corals to add some continuity, God, I can read, to the piece, changing it, mirror, etc., so it isn't exactly the same. Yes, and I do that a lot, like with flowers too. If I do like a set of flowers, the one that I just finished, let me show you this one. Where did I save it to? This one I just finished. These flowers are all... It was like the same 3 or 4 sets of flowers that I just kept turning and twisting and moving into different positions. When I went and painted it, I tried not to copy the reference photo exactly. But yeah, I do that all the time. And I do it a lot with coral too. So yes, that is absolutely something that can be done and look good. Leafy Sea Dragons are the coolest ever. I agree. I really like them. Pablo, oh wait, is that a sea dragon? Yes. Pablo said, hey Lisa, lifesaver, go to edit, preferences, file handling. Here you have the automatically save recovery information. Ooh, I'm going to do that later. I'm not messing with stuff tonight, or well, I will later tonight, but yes, thank you. I need to do that for sure. Nick said, I think he means that lasso tool can be feathered to soften the selection edges. That's what, okay. See, my brain just doesn't, it doesn't pick up on what like, English apparently. Yeah, I never used the lasso tool because I don't know how, and quite honestly. So see what I mean? Not next. You can use Photoshop and not have any idea what you're doing and still make it work. Yes, I need to look into that because there are so many things in Photoshop you can do that are so much easier than what I do, and I need to. Thanks for clarifying that, Nick. I apparently don't comprehend English at all. Mercy says, like how very colorful the coral is on this cat. Thanks. I think it's going to look really neat. He has another cat, too, that was like a tabby, like the stripes, that I thought would look cool, too. But this photo, because of the lighting and the angle, seemed just perfect. Okay, what was I looking for again? So we added you. I know I took photos of mushrooms. I don't remember. Oh, there were some right there. Where were they? Those little guys down there. It's not the greatest photo. Oh, a bunch over here. I may not have edited any of these. Not loving those. That furry stuff here might work. Huh. Let's see. Do I think that would work? Let's minimize you. That might work as a filler if I need something along edges, so we'll keep that as a possibility. Ooh, that leather, though. Kind of like that leather. Not super detailed like the other Tidal Garden stuff, but, or any Tidal Garden stuff. This is not one of their photos. You can tell because it's crappy. But that might work along one of the edges, this leather off to the side here. Let's go ahead and pull that up, and we'll give that a try. It may be too bright. So what number was I on? 677. But it's one of my photos, which means I have to actually edit differently because it's not the nice black background. Go in front. Switch. I'm just going to chop all this out. And then I'll just erase around the edges. Okay. Where's my eraser? That's not an eraser. There's my eraser. Maybe on that, maybe not. But it's, you know, cut out if I like it. That would need to go along the back for sure. Further back. Miriam said, seahorses and sea dragons are another favorite. Will you do your signature turquoise hint? I will definitely be adding the turquoise, which you've seen me do. Actually, I think the lion has some. Can you see it on him? The lion has, like the mushrooms in here, you can kind of see that turquoise underlines a lot of the corals and a few of them. So I'm sure that'll get pulled in. I'm not sure on that leather there. Maybe. Oh, Miriam said, I meant seahorses and dragons. Sea dragons are another favorite of mine. Gotcha. See? Comprehension is not my forte tonight. Okay. I was actually looking for mushrooms, though. That's not mushrooms. My photos, after looking at the Tidal Gardens photos, I look at these and I mean, they're usable, but man, they do not compare. I thought that I took a bunch. I probably just didn't edit them. Probably on the SD card. Because I remember thinking, mushrooms, I can use this in reference photos. I think they probably just didn't get edited. Yeah, not seeing anything there. You know what I can do, though? Well, that one's pretty. Hey, I got one good coral shot there. See, I think this was the tank with the mushrooms. That's not, it was actual purple ones. But anyway, what I may do is take part of my lion. You go back up there. I can edit out some of the mushrooms I used on him. Ooh, and the sponge. I'll probably add sponges too. Actually, probably end up adding quite a few things from him. So let's go ahead and take that. And I'm just going to add a few of these guys. Oh, that's super tiny. Whoops, wrong one. You go back where you were. Let's see. Maya said, what is Penny going to be looking at? She is quite intensely looking. Fish. There will be fish swimming around. I mean, I don't know if you'll be able to tell she's looking at fish, but you know, there's going to be a lot of fish. So we're going with that. Do I have any original do I have the original Photoshop file for the lion where you already have the coral reference cut out? So the thing is, I didn't actually cut out the coral photos for the lion. I just, because I worked in acrylics, I just randomly like drew them in and filled them in, and if I didn't like them, I could paint over them. I can't do that with colored pencils, so this time I have to actually cut things out that I didn't have to do on the lion. Okay. Yeah, definitely going to want mushrooms. Actually, I like the mushrooms better than that leather. Let's get rid of you. I don't really like that guy that much. We'll just make you disappear for now. And I'll have to draw those in a bit more refined. The file folder that, or folder, file, whatever, words are hard, that I'm using is really tiny apparently. I didn't realize that was 100%. So we want to get, I liked the mushrooms, or not the mushrooms, the sponges. I always add sponges in here, so we'll do that now. What am I getting a notification for? Whoops. Come on, phone. Oh. Okay, let's see. Brain just shut down. What was I doing? Oh yeah, sponges. So let's pull that photo back up, cut out the sponges. I really should grab the larger full file for the lion, but whatever. This gives me an idea. I love drawing sponges, like this kind. I don't know what kind of it is, but I include these on most of my coral reef drawings. So you now go up here, make you larger. That's not pixelated at all. Whoops, that's not what I meant to do. Dang it. There we go. I don't know where those are going yet. Maybe just back here. That actually works. Apparently I don't know how to spell sponge. Sponge? I don't know. I can't spell the things. The sponge needs to go behind those, I think. Maybe. I don't know. We'll see on that. I'm not sure if that's staying there. Maybe a little something else right here. Thanks, Xerxes. Am I going to hide the ones layered that I cut out but do not use, or save the file so I can possibly use them in another painting down the road? Oh, these ones I'll just delete because it's not, you saw how quick, it's just a one button thing because they've got the black background, so I just have to hit it with one button and they're fine. So no, I don't really need to, speaking of saving, we'll just save that. I don't need to worry about saving those. Let's see, what do I want next? Let's go back. Where did my Tidal Gardens photos go? Let's go back to those. What should I add next? I just need one more spot. Ooh. Let's see what you look like. Don't know what this guy is either. Actually, he's probably, I wonder if he's related to Bob. He kind of looks, I don't know. I don't know. I need a name check again. This is now Bob's brother Bill. Oh, I think he's gonna look good in that area here. Bill can hang out next to his brother. And I'll have to adjust shadows and such from one coral to the next, the way that I've got them overlapped. And then we'll get rid of this. Let's see. Is there a cheaper Photoshop? You can use, what is the online one? It's I want to say, not Pixabay, gosh, somebody knows what it is. There is a cheaper, like an online version, a free version that you can use. What is it? I can't think of it right now. Not as good, but close. Close enough, honestly. For if you're not wanting to get the full Photoshop thing, that is definitely an option for you. Bill, I'm not sure if you look good here. Maybe here. Maybe move the cat a little more up from the square picture. Just add more coral. And I may thin some of this out. Like, let's see, mushrooms. Do I really like the mushrooms? I don't know. Doesn't go with, I mean, it may be better without there. I kind of like it better without, so you see a little bit more of her fur. And then in that case, do I need the sponge? Kind of like it like this. I may add a little bit of sponges around the edges, but I'm kind of liking it this way. Have I tried? Pixlr, yes, pixlr.com. That's what it is. Thank you, Jenna. Pixlr is the online one. You can play around with that. And it could be the next Bert. Oh, Bert would have been a good name too. Paint.net, you can do a lot in it. That's good. Joseph wants Buford. I feel sorry for you guys' future children. Just saying. Yeah, I think that's about what I'm going to add in the coral. Now I'm going to have to tone a lot of this down because a lot of this is like, whoa, that's bright. So let's go ahead, and I don't need you. What else did I not need? Don't need you. Don't need you. Don't need, I never even found out what those were. We're just going to remove those altogether. You will see, like I said, this, I'm going to darken a lot of this and pull it in so that it works better with her. But let's go ahead and play around with some of the fish now. So I know for certain I wanted this guy. Actually, you know what? Having him here is going to make my life more difficult than if I just add him again. Size-wise, that will be easier. This was the one I really liked. Now, mine are a bit of a pain to cut out, so let's just get the majority of this out, and the eraser and I can spend some quality time together. Okay, back to the Wacom tablet. Where is my eraser? So I'll do the larger chunks first, and then I'll shrink my brush size down closer to this guy. I just erased part of him. Let's redo that. And remember to lift my brush this time. Okay, we'll switch brush sizes here. Come on, give me my, there we go. And there are better ways to do this and easier, faster. I've seen people do it and I can never remember the layering process. I need to make myself do it a few times with some of the different tools for cutting things out. But I never remember, so I just end up keep doing the same old way every time. Wow, the difference with this computer is huge. When I tried doing this before on live streams, the delay, the lag that I was getting from the Wacom tablet to everything, it was horrible. This is amazing. This is like, wow. First time I've used the Wacom tablet since setting this one up, so I'm kind of excited right now. This is working as intended. And I don't need this perfect. I just need to get it mostly blocked out. Fan, are you still here? What colors do you like? I didn't even bother to ask you. That might help me to decide what to do for my background. Actually, I think this guy's gonna be one of the main features. I really like, oh, now that I moved it off the cat, I can see I did a terrible job erasing. Let's fix that. Okay, good enough. Let's see. Had some questions I'm missing here. Samson said, did you say Pixlr for the photo editor? Yeah, I'm using Photoshop. I definitely prefer Photoshop. I've used Pixlr years ago, but if you don't want to get Photoshop or pay the monthly fees that Photoshop costs, that is definitely an option to play around with and start learning. It's similar. There are a lot of similar features between the two. Photoshop can obviously do more, but as far as designing stuff like this, you can do it with the free program. I thought I would end up turning this guy to face the other direction. I don't know. Let's find out. Where are my options that I want? There we go. Maybe he should look towards her. I don't know. They can be looking at each other. That's a possibility. I'll have to clean up those edges on the actual artwork for sure. Let's see. Kind of like him there. That is going to be her main, what she's looking at. And I'll make sure the edges are nice and crisp. Perhaps Penny is training her sea dragon. Looks like. Okay, let's actually, I've still got more. I could waste so much time making everything all clean right now, which is not important, so I need to just stop doing that. Okay, let's get some more fish. So I'm gonna look. I've got a lot of photos of my own that I took yesterday that I mentioned, so let's see if we've got some of those guys that I can use. It'll just be swimming all over, and then I want to start playing with background ideas. So these were some of my favorite photos that I had gotten, so we'll look at those first. Tang would probably look kind of cool because he's not going to draw so much attention. Whoops. What am I? Stop pushing all the buttons. Which one did I like better, though? I don't know which one. Decisions. He's a maybe. I don't feel like cutting him out for a maybe just yet. Let's see what else we've got. The purple Tang is really pretty. He actually would probably be a really good choice. Let's go with that. Okay. Nope, can't drag you that way. I've hit the right buttons. Shouldn't be that hard, but it is. Let's see. Facing away, he's saying, talk to the fin or don't look at me. Possibly, yeah. I'm going to still play around with which direction I'm going to put that guy, because I've certainly not made that. That's not finalized at all. Kathy said, duplicate the coral on the bottom left, creamy, fingerly one, and replace the big red round bottle one on the right. Duplicate the coral on the bottom left. Hold on. What are you talking about? Duplicate the coral on the bottom left, creamy finger, I guess the torch, and replace the big round one on the bottom right. Possibly. I'll play around. None of this is finalized. This is just kind of a general idea. You may be right. That may be a better choice there, but we'll see once I balance, because everything has to balance with each other. So once I get the fish in, that's going to throw off the balance as well. Like, it all has to work together. So that may be a good option. That may be a good suggestion. Lucas said, 2 questions, please. Do you use the Masterson palette with the glass palette inside? Yes, I do. And do you use the sponge under the glass palette to keep it wet? Thanks. No, I do not. I don't leave sponge or use sponges at all because they get bacteria and just, no. That is a smell I cannot tolerate. I love the smell of oil paint. Hate the smell of anything moldy. So, or like that mildewy smell. I will, for acrylics, I'll take a paper towel and get it wet, like just leave some water on it, but I can throw it away every time I open or switch it out, so it doesn't ever start to get yucky like those sponges. Not for me. Tasha said, I can imagine kelp trees or taller corals that look like shrubs in the background. Yeah, like seaweed might look really good. Yeah, we're gonna have to play with that background. Did I miss my bad play on words? Train sea dragon. I thought you were making a how to train your dragons joke. Did I miss it? I might have missed it. I probably missed it. Most likely I missed it. Let's see. Okay, what was I on next? Oh yeah, this guy. The purple Tang. So let's go ahead. I'm just gonna cut his, actually, let's do it this way. I'm just gonna feather it by 1, just soften it a bit. So one of the things that I was trying to do when I took photos at the aquarium is getting fish at different angles. I don't want them all side view like this guy. This seems to be the easiest angle to get photos of, but trying to find photos where the fish is, that is not what I meant to do, where the fish is like angled at you and turning, those, you want to make sure when you're doing underwater scenes that you include that sort of photo. Otherwise, everything ends up being just too flat, too stiff feeling. If you want it to look like fish are actually swimming around the area, make sure you're getting some different angles in there. And that's why a lot of the photos, like those of you, I gave a bunch of extra photos, more so than normal because I was so late on Patreon. But a lot of them you may look at and go, that's not a good photo of the fish. But sometimes you're looking for that. You really want to get variation in the angle of your fish. So while on its own, yeah, it's not like the most amazing photo, but when you, some of this is in front of his little mouth. Actually, let's just remove him. That variation is a big deal. Okay, I did get it. The How to Train Your Dragon. I haven't seen the new one. Magic Lasso Tool is also, I need to learn how to use those right, because I know what I'm doing right now is more time consuming than it needs to be. Like, I know, I've seen videos, I watched them and was like, wow, that's really cool. I need to do that. And then I'll do it once and forget. I have to do it over and over again before I possibly remember. And I just haven't taken the time to do it. So I keep doing the same old, like, this is not how you should do these things. And I'm super going fast and not doing a good job because I don't need to for this. Like, if I was trying to actually edit a photo, I would do it better, but oops, I just cut up part of your head. We'll just pretend you had a hole in the head and you were losing pieces. It happens. We'll say I used cheap carbon and made you sick. Okay. Let's shrink you down. I don't know where you're going to go. I don't even know for sure if this fish will be in there. I'm just going to start throwing a bunch of fish in there so that I can kind of play around. Okay, I just made you a juvenile. You're little now. Maybe in the back. Maybe we'll flip him the other direction. I don't know. Oh, he's kind of cute back there. Maybe you'll stay. You just upped your chances of staying in this piece by quite a bit right now. We'll find out. Wouldn't it be cool if the seahorse was in a bird cage? Oh my gosh, that would be, that on its own would make for an amazing, I like that idea a lot. A lot. That's cool. Okay. Let's see, what's next? More fish. So just keep scrolling through here. Oh, we could use the little damsel. I should make him like be picking on the Tang or something so it's realistic. Wait, is that a damsel? I think it's a damsel. I can't tell the size. Could be an angelfish and I'm an idiot. Let's see. He's a cute clownfish. See, this is an example when I was talking about the angles, getting different angles of the fish. When you look at it on its own, it's like, what the heck is that? But if he were swimming next to more fish on the sides, so you have a bunch of the same kind of fish sideways, and then you include one that's angled at the viewer like this, that's going to give you that natural flow, that natural movement. I wouldn't put him on his own. He's not a good standalone photo. But when you're putting a bunch of fish together, you want to get a few that are at an angle like this. It's going to give you a much more natural feel in the finished painting. Some Antheus. Maybe on them, probably not. Ooh, I like him. And with him, what I would do is pull in. I wouldn't leave the white that white. I'd be pulling in the purples and such to tone that down. But he might be cute. You're a possibility. We've got the clownfish. I really like that one. And it's a weird angle because he's kind of moving away from you. But that may work. The Emperor. As cool as that fish is, I think in this piece it would draw too much attention to him and away from the cat, which is not the goal, so we're not going to go with him. The octopus isn't going to fit. Now that's a cool angle for the copper banded. So this guy, this butterfly fish, see how he's kind of turning to the side? His tail is moving away from you and he's part way at a turn. That is absolutely perfect. So that we are so going to include him. And what I do with these guys, so where he's silver in the photo, I actually make that pick up whatever colors are in the background. So the background color, let's say I was with grays, I'd probably use more purples, but I'd pull other colors in there so it's not quite so, you can work these colors into the piece. So what number was he? 898. That one is perfect. And we've got a few, actually, look at this one where he's facing you. So I could even put a couple of them together where you get that variation of angle that would really, really work out well. I'm probably going to put a few of these in. So let's start with 898 and crop him. Where was he? So I've got a mostly side view. Just go ahead and cut most of this out. I'm going to make him a little bit larger while I crop him just so I can see what I'm doing. Oops. And I just lost my chat window. Come back, chat window. There you go. Okay. Gwen said, use the tool right below the quick selection tool. It looks a lot like the magic wand and grabs larger areas than the magic wand. Which one? Quick selection tool. Yeah, see, but it's kind of bumpy. It's not like, I don't know how, I need to learn to use this properly. Like, see how it's cutting out part of the fish that I don't want. Can you move that? And I've seen people do this where they can move, and I'm not doing it right. No, remove. Deselect. So it's not as smooth as I want. So I need to learn how to use that properly. I'm just making an absolute mess. It's kind of like me attempting to cook. I mean, it used to be food. It's not food anymore. Kind of like what I just did with this fish. I chopped off part of his head. I can't give them all whole in the head. We don't want that natural. Good night, Fiddle Jewel. And dang it, I hate when I do that. Yeah, this would probably be a lot faster just to go back to erasing my outer edges. Maybe I should do that. But I already started. I'm on a mission now. A do things the hard way mission. Because I'm a pro. Oops. That doesn't know how to click buttons. Hi, Solar Sun. Okay, almost with this guy. I think we're definitely going to have a few of the copper bandits in this painting. These guys are so pretty. I don't intend on having a tank large enough for them, so not in my future. I'll just keep painting them. That's what I paint, fish that I can't keep. So it's like I get to have them without having to worry about taking care of them. Works out really nicely. Okay, let's shrink you down a bit. Actually, I'll probably end up putting fish over here too. I've got to include firefish somewhere. I don't know where he's going yet, and I don't think that's going to be the angle. I think he'll face the opposite. Let's flip you around. Oops, that's the wrong button. And I'll have to adjust the lighting on him because my light source is like super different on him now that I flipped him. Where is Sir Scooter going to go? Sir Scooter is not going to go in this painting. An octopus doesn't fit unless I like had him wrapped around the cat, which would be, that would be another really cool painting. Maybe I need to paint more cats because that would be really cool to have them like hanging out together. I like that. Ford's Farm Studio said, I use it, but similar colors are not as smooth. So I go to Lasso Tool to fix the places it messed up. The magnetic Lasso Tool you're using does too many straight edges for what I do. Yeah, you know what I used to do before I started just to erase things is shrink or like blow it up really big and just teeny little sections all at the same time. I would spend so long. I could get it perfect with the tool, the one that I'm using. It just took a long time. Again, not super practical. Don't watch my videos for learning how to Photoshop because I'm not doing it right. Let's see. Definitely want to get some more. Let's see, what next butterfly should I go with? I liked him, so we can include that guy. What is that one? 53. Is that the best next forward facing? Well, maybe that angle. 54. Where are you? 54. Oops. One more time. Let's see. Oops. Hit a wrong button. Do I have plans to make an art book about your journey and your life and art? Maybe eventually. I don't know. That sounds... Books, as it turns out, to write, you think, oh, that's a good idea. That's fun. I want to write a book. Yeah, they take forever. I have a friend... Oops. Click the right thing. I have a friend who, she actually wrote the Colored Pencil Bible. And I mean, to hear the stories of how long these books take and the amount of work, I'm like, there's no way I can do that and make videos. It's kind of one of those, choose one. Maybe if I had people working for me that could do stuff for me so I wasn't having to do everything, maybe someday that will be an option. I'm actually going to just erase this time. I've just been getting lazy and I'm not naming my layers anymore. That's a bad idea. Oh, I haven't saved this in a while. Let's do that. Penny looks like royalty. Good. She should. That's what we're going for here. Ford's Farm said, yes, that's what I do at times, but I'm creating photo collages that are the final product, not reference. Completely understandable. Yes, if it's your final product, you can't be as lazy as what I'm doing. Nick said, "Hey, don't forget to check out Lachri Fine Art merch in the description of the video." Oh, you're not talking to me. You're talking to other people. I follow along well. Okay, let's go back to my handy eraser. I love this button. Get the edges first. I'll switch the brush size to be a bit bigger when I get the edges cleaned up. Not perfect, but we're gonna go with good enough. Heather said, "Looks like the blue Tang is a cat whisperer." Possibly. He's actually a purple Tang. Blue Tangs would be another, well, he's powder blue, or hippo Tang would be blue Tangs. But yeah, he does look like he's talking to him, huh? Actually, you know what? Hold on, I'm so used to before, you used to have to use, like the default, if you'd have to use shift to change the size if you drag the size to keep it in perspective. And now it automatically doesn't, the normal perspective, and if you hit shift, it warps it, which is like really screwing me up. I'm having to, it's better. Once I get used to this way, it'll be a much better way to go. But yeah, I am quite confused a lot right now with maybe just those two. And right now the coloring is really far off on these guys from what it's going to be. So like right now everything feels a bit disjointed where it doesn't totally make sense. Like, why is that one kind of blue and this one's more yellow? And it'll balance out. And I'm not even sure if I'm going to keep these two there because I'm getting to where I've got too many large fish. I'm thinking of pulling, let's change you. I need to rename these guys. Solar Sun said, "Have you ever used glow light paints in any of your artwork? From your general knowledge, are the glow paints archivable?" They are not archival. At all. They will fade within a few years. And so a lot of people like to use glow in the dark paint, and that's fun. I get why people like it. And especially a lot of people use it if they're going to put it around their fish tanks because the lights make them glow, like be super bright. So I understand the draw there, and I get why there's a market for it, but you have to keep in mind that those are not archival. You've only got a few years normally before they start to fade. So depending on you know, how much they're exposed to light, but yeah, they are not archival. So any fluorescent colors are really, whether it glows or it's just fluorescent, they are not going to be archival colors. So something to definitely keep in mind when you're choosing which paint is right for you. For me, because I sell my work, I'm not comfortable using paints that I know are going to fade in a few years, because I feel that, like, what is the buyer going to feel like in a few years when it doesn't look the same as what they paid for? And especially if they're going to pay as much for that as something that is archival, you know, you've got all those things to keep in mind. So no, the short version of that story is, or short answer, I do not use them. Yeah, I don't like the purple Tang there. Now that I've removed that, maybe a couple of smaller fish. I'm determined to fit in firefish because I'm obsessed with mine right now, and I don't know though. It may be best just with a handful and then some bubbles. Keep it kind of simple here. Let's see. Have I ever heard of the Artzea canvas and paints? I've been reading reviews and it looks almost purchasable. So here's I've not used them. Keep that in mind. I have a problem with the way that they're marketing it, and they are not testing for light fast. So they'll say superior or something. I forget how they word it, like great light fast qualities or whatever, but they don't test for light fast. So they're saying things are light fast that they're not testing for. That to me right now, right away, I don't trust your company. And they're pushing really hard. I know because they contact me usually a couple times a week. Lately it's backed off to like once a week, but they contact me fairly often wanting me to push their products. No, I'm not. And I know that they're doing this to everybody. And so it's an easy way, I guess, to get a sponsorship. And I understand, I don't judge anyone for supporting that. And, you know, there is a market for lower quality, lower end art supplies. There's nothing wrong with that. But for me, because my focus is on archival products, on things that, you know, that sort of thing matters to me a lot. So I guess if you want to talk about target audience or whatever, I've always targeted I want to help other people who were me when I was 20 and starting, you know, a career in this. So in that case, the archival qualities of your work, your supplies matter. So I'm not, and I have people ask me to review them, and I'm not saying that they're absolutely terrible. I'm just saying they're not archival. We know that they're not archival. I don't trust these new startup companies, and especially a lot of the stuff that comes out of China. It's not quality. Usable, if that's what gets an artist started. So like a teenager, absolutely get them those products. I have no problem with that. But once you get to where you're wanting to sell your work, these are not the supplies that you should really be using. If that's all you can get and that's how you get started with art, go for it. So it's not like I'm saying no one should ever use those products, but it's not one I'm comfortable promoting or pushing. It's one of those things, like, I know I could make some extra money, some decent money pushing those products and with the affiliate links, but I'm not comfortable doing it because it's not really who, you know, I don't, teenagers will watch my videos, but it's not really my focus. My focus are people who are looking to make a career out of this, or people who are looking to improve their art skills a lot. And these cheap generic things just aren't really the fit for that. So it's hard for me to say, yeah, I'm okay. Like, I understand why somebody would want them and why there's a need for them in the market, but it's not what I'm trying to think how to word that right. I'm just rambling at this point. So no, I'm not going to work with that company. If you're looking for something, thanks, OneSGWW. If you're not looking to sell your work, if you're just looking to have fun and experiment with products, I'm sure they're fine. If you're looking to sell your work, no, absolutely not. They are not something you want to get into. There's my summary of my rambling. Yeah, Nick Edward, we think they might be light fast. They're not light fast. If you didn't test for it, if a company tests for light fast qualities, if they actually test, it's very expensive to test. If they test for it, they are going to brag about that left and right. Look at Derwent. Look at it. My brain shut down. Carandash or Faber-Castell. That's a big selling point. How many of their products are light fast, and when they are, they like brag. You know, they standing on the rooftops yelling about it. It's a big deal when your products are light fast, and they might be light fast. We think they're light fast is not the same as we've done the testing. Here are the results. I want to see the results. Otherwise, I know you're making that up just as a marketing kind of. It's a scam. They're lying. So yeah. Ursi said, I like the way you took your own photos. The contrast looks dynamic. Thank you. Have I ever... Okay, so I answered that. Ford Farm Studios. These are not the supplies you were looking for. Been watching Star Wars. Let's see. Tasha said it may be a Canadian thing, but the Artzea packaging that I see does show their light fast on the form of pluses right next to the pencil or pen. Yeah, if they've done the testing, then great. Then that's really cool. But most of those that I've looked into did not. They didn't have, and they may be doing that now. So if they are, that is awesome. My other thing, though, I don't love companies that just came out of nowhere. And some people may not agree with that. I want to go with a company like Faber-Castell or Derwent, or a company who's been around for a long time, and I know I can trust their supplies, because it's too easy to use a supply for 5 years and then find out that, by the way, not archival as we thought it was. And I mean, heck, that could happen to me with any of the supplies I use now. But I'd prefer to go with a company that's been around for a while, that I know is like committed to creating quality supplies for artists versus one that just popped up out of nowhere. Their marketing, which is smart. I mean, hit the YouTubers. That's a great marketing thing. So it's not like I'm bashing them for that. It's just not a fit for me. Let's see. The butterfly fish are the ones I'm working on in colored pencil. Oh, I love the butterfly fish. They're so pretty. Have I ever used mother of pearl on plexiglass before? Are they archival? I have not. I know nothing about any of that. Okay. So, let's see. Back onto fish. And I need to figure out the background too, because that's going to make a bit of a difference here as I work my way through this. And I may need a few more corals. Decisions. I think I'm going to leave this for a bit. Actually, wait, let me see if there's any more fish that I want to include that I have. And then I'm going to start looking at background options. Oh, I should get a couple of little guys in by the coral. I kind of like this clownfish because I like the different angle. Like the fact that he's swimming away, I do like. But there's nowhere in here that angle is going to work, I don't think. Maybe this guy. Maybe I'll get a photo of one of my clownfish. He would work. Let's go ahead and pull him. 95. I also, and this is something that I wouldn't even question. Oops, this isn't what I meant to do. I wouldn't even question a company like Derwent or Faber-Castell, but some of these newer companies, I also wonder, like, did you really light fast test this? I don't know. I guess I'm just not trusting. And it worries me with artwork that you put a lot of time into. I so don't want to find out that there were some problems. What did I say? 95? Yeah, that one. Okay, let's name him. I'm just going to do the eraser again because that seems to be going faster for me tonight. Whoops, that was not the right layer. No, it was. What did I just do? Why did that not do what I wanted it to do? Oh, I know why it didn't, because I need to deselect that. This clownfish, she looks small in the photos. She was freaking huge. Biggest clownfish I have ever, of this type, that I have ever seen in person. My God, that was a big fish. Like, and she's in such a big tank, she doesn't look that big, and in the photo, she looks little. But, oh my gosh, huge fish. And her colors look terrible against these corals, so I'll definitely go a lot brighter. Why don't you hang out with Bob and his brother there? I think that'll work. Let's adjust that just a bit. Where's the button I'm looking for? There it is. Make the color a lot deeper and more bold. Much better. Let's see. Miriam said, I'm so glad you're saying this about Lightfast and pop-up companies. Saving frustration and money. Thank you. Yeah, and I could be wrong about their Lightfast stuff. And I'd be glad to be wrong, but I just don't trust them. Not them, but like startup companies. I'm just like, you've got to earn that trust, and I just don't have it yet. Thank you, great rant. I'm good at rants. I have a lot of them. Love those. Thank you for showing me the way to use colored pencils. I only saw them as Crayola colors. I bought Derwent and Luminance after much internal debate. Oh, if you got those, you don't need Art Zaya. I wouldn't even bother with Art Zayas if you've got the good ones. Let's see. Solar Sun said, I have a life crisis. My parents are discouraging me from an art journey. Do you have any wisdom or general advice? My dad wants me to be an accountant pharmacist instead. I mean, it's a safer way to go. It's harder to make your dad's not wrong. It is much harder to make a living as an artist in many cases. You've got to be good at not just art, but at marketing, at the business side of things. Learning business and marketing is as important as learning the art. So he's, it's hard, and not everybody's going to be able to, like, it takes a certain personality type to be able to work from home and actually work when you're home, whereas like my husband could never do it ever. If I end up hiring an assistant, it won't be my husband. I promise you, he would not be. He just doesn't have the personality type to work from home, whereas I can be at home and get work done. I work nonstop between going and feeding my fish. But you've got to have, it's not going to be for everybody, that's for sure. But I would say, getting into, I don't think you need a lot of schooling to get into being an accountant. I'm not sure with pharmacist, but with being in, you can do both at the same time. You want to have another job while you're building up your art career. Do both. If you want it bad enough, you're going to do both, and you're going to make that happen. Or maybe you should go into business and marketing so you can apply that to your art career, but you can also go back to, business and marketing so you can have other clients as well. That may be a good fit. But it's not that I would want to discourage someone from art, but I think that you need to be realistic. Is it what you want? Like, for example, I wanted to be a veterinarian so bad. I was certain most of my life that's what I wanted to be. Then I worked at an animal hospital. That's not for me. This is not the life I want. Like, this is not that. No, that's not going to happen. So, understanding what being an artist really entails, I think, is important. But also having that, like, I worked at an animal hospital while I was building up my career. I was just a receptionist, but I worked there while I built up my art career. I had to do both at the same time to get to this point, so that I had to have that stable something that I don't want to say that I could fall back on, but I need to be, you need to be able to make money. And when you first get started with art, you usually don't. So, for the most part, I would say, like, if you're going to go to college or if you're going to take classes, business and marketing, learn those, because that's something that if you decide that you are going to continue with art, you've got that to apply to your art business. Those need to go together. You need to know both if you want to be really successful with things. So I would say, I mean, your dad's not, your parents aren't wrong in what their thought process is, because it can be hard. You have to, do you have the personality type that is going to be able to stay at home and work and get that work done and do the business and marketing? And here's another thing to keep in mind. I work every day. I haven't had a day off. It's been over a week and a half since I had, closer to 2 weeks, I think, since I've had like a full day where I didn't work at all that day. I did errands, but I didn't like work. That's normal. I mean, I work almost every day. Is that what you're going, are these the things that you want to pursue as a career? Now, again, I'm not discouraging you. I just want you to be realistic about what you're getting yourself into, and the fact that you do need to learn the business and marketing side. But you could do that. Maybe that'll make your parents happy. Focus on that, and then you can end up applying that to your art journey. But the art journey, the art side of things, it can't be just the art, because there are so many artists who are just phenomenal, so much better than I am, but they can't make a living at it. They can't figure out how to, whether it be sell art, teach, whatever. They're not making money doing it, even though they're technically, skill-wise, way above where I'm at right now. You've got to learn the business and marketing side of things. So maybe, again, talk to your parents. Maybe that's something that they would be comfortable with you doing instead of being a pharmacist or an accountant. And you would be able to do both at the same time, because you have to do both at the same time. With me, I don't get just to stay home, to draw and paint all day. Most of my time is spent on the business side of things. At least half of the time is. So I don't know if any of that's helpful, but it's things that you do want to consider and do want to think about when you decide that that is something that you want to do full time. You can absolutely do it. If you want it, you can make it happen. But you've got to be realistic that it's not just sit at home and, sit at the easel and paint all day. There's another side of it and another whole aspect that you need to learn when deciding that you want to become an artist for a living. That was a long ramble. And I don't, like I said, I don't want to discourage anybody, because I did it and I love it. I love my career. I love that I went down this path and this is what I chose to do. But you want to be realistic about things and not understand all the aspects of what's involved and work towards that. So like I said, business and marketing, I think, is what a lot of artists should get into. Keeps your parents happy, and you can apply it to your art career. Let's see. And I was lucky too, though. I had my parents were very, very supportive of me pursuing an art career. They knew eventually I would make it. They were very, very supportive. So I did have that, but I really wish I would have learned the business and marketing part earlier. Let's see. When SGWW said, I have 3 kids. None of them will use Crayola, Prismacolor, or any other cheap materials. My oldest has polychromos. All 3 have the Lyra polycolors, Durant watercolor, and graphics. That is awesome. Kyle said, I thought you spent half your time bothering me about fish illnesses. Not untrue. That is actually where most of my time has been spent. Yeah, and fish illness because my fish was fine. Anyway, yeah. Speaking of moderators, make sure you check out their channels. Their links are in the video description. Kyle has an aquarium channel, and Nick and Joseph both have really cool art channels. They've got demonstrations there showing you how to paint and draw different things, so definitely check them out too. Okay, let's see. What was I working on? I got lost on my tangent there. We've got the corals. We need some more fish. That was what I was working on. So we got the clownfish. Let's see what else we want to include. Or possibly include. What I will end up doing too, once the stream's over and I've stepped away for a bit, I will start making other, like, look at it from a distance, come back with fresh eyes, because the choices I'm making right now, you know, I'm sitting here chatting on the live stream. I'm not super focused. So my creative side, and this is really for me where the creativity comes in on coming up with the design process. And that takes a little bit more focus than what I'm able to do on a live stream. Once I hit the easel, it's not so creative. It's just drawing what I've already decided. The creative side is what I'm doing right now. Let's see. Tisha said, do you find business and marketing a necessity? Absolutely. Because how are you going to sell it if you don't know that side of the business? And I'm not saying you need to go to school for it. I didn't. There are plenty of blogs. There's plenty of videos out there that start teaching you things, you know, watch those sort of things. But you absolutely do need to learn that side. If you want to make a business out of this, you really need to learn it, unless you've got an agent or someone like that can kind of do that sort of thing. But that's hard to find somebody. There aren't a lot of people who do that sort of work with somebody who isn't already well known. What do I think about doing art shows for someone starting out? They're fun. It's worth the experience. Do not get into art shows that you're having to spend an arm and a leg to enter to start out with, because most art shows, trying to sell expensive paintings at most art shows, now there are exceptions, like Laguna Beach has their Sawdust Festival. If you can get into that, it costs an arm and a leg, but you're almost guaranteed sales there. People they go there to spend a lot of money. Most art shows that I've been to, they'll buy prints, cheap prints. I found that out too. Not the expensive stuff. They don't want the giclées. They want the $25 prints, the smaller things. But selling prints, selling small, quickie things, like most of the art shows, people are not dropping hundreds or thousands of dollars at an art show. So, and I have sold, like I sold one, it was a different type. It wasn't like an art fair. It was an actual like jury show. But I had a painting sell for $1,200 was the most I've ever sold at a show like that. But most of the time it wasn't. I think the most expensive besides that was probably $200 at like actual like art fairs and such. And even beyond that, there are times you do an art show and nothing sells unless you've got the cheaper prints. So don't do something that you're gonna have to spend a lot of money when you're first figuring out what your setup should be and that sort of thing. I would find the art shows that are very inexpensive, or sometimes if it's a startup show, they want any artist to come and they won't charge you. So that's there were a few in California I did like that. So that may be a good way to get started and just kind of figure out what kind of setup, what's involved in setting up, if that's something that's going to be a fit for you. But you don't want to invest a lot when you're first getting started. And I would say go to the shows. If there's a show you're interested in, go the first year, go and experience it yourself and see, talk to the other artists there and see what their experience has been like at those shows, if it's been worth it for them to do. So there's so many factors. Having prints is a big one. That's really going to sell more than anything else. Heather said, I completely blame you for not just getting me into digital art, but also now into manipulation of my pictures. You're welcome. You're welcome for the addiction. Solar Sun said, there are times during the day I procrastinate instead of doing my duties that I have to do. Any advice or wisdom to solve my procrastination crisis? For me, it was having to pay bills. I have bills coming up and I can't pay them if I don't get my work done. So, that helps. Get yourself on a schedule. One of the things that I love is, let's go back to the kitty. And I've got to come up with backgrounds still too. Let's actually look for backgrounds on Pixabay. Let's see what blurry out of focus things look like besides solid things. I think it's going to be solid. But anyway, one of the things that I really liked doing was, here we go. Set up a schedule. Get a Google, like it's free. You've got the Google Calendar, and I would set, and I still do this. I set a schedule. I have to get this, this, and this done on this day. I have to get this done by this day, and that really helps me to get work done because I give myself those goals, and I'm hitting those goals. If that means I don't sleep, it means I don't sleep. But I've got to hit those goals, and that helps. What do I think of Etsy as a market for art? Etsy is hit or miss. Some people do well with it. Etsy does better if you can kind of build a following outside of Etsy and send your followers over to Etsy. One of the best examples of this is Jenna, her name is, or Jana, I'm not saying it right. Warren Key's Emporium. That is a word I've never been able to say correctly either. Words are so hard. But with her, she has a following on Etsy, and she lets people know on Etsy when her shop goes live, when she has updates, and everyone like floods over and buys everything out within an hour. Usually all, like, she may load 20 different things and within an hour they're all gone because she's built that kind of fan base and this demand for her products. So that works really well. But the problem with Etsy is you have to, like eBay, when an item is like if I put an item up today, in a week, mine is going to be the top of the list. Like the stuff that's going to end soonest, those auctions will be at the top of that search list. With Etsy, it's based on date. So if I put something up and then somebody comes in with all of the cheap knockoff, like the not original paintings, all the ones that come from China, those ones, they'll put those in there and it floods the marketplace and I get dropped so far. So the only way for me to come back up at the top of that list is to cancel that auction, start a new auction. Now I'm at the top, but then it's the same thing. I keep getting pushed down, and so it can be a lot harder for someone to find you unless they're looking for your actual name on Etsy. But Etsy's a real problem with that. I don't like the way that Etsy's set up that way very much, unless you're sending people to your shop from outside of the platform itself. I just found that people didn't find me on Etsy like they did on eBay. eBay I had way better luck with. Let's see. Vladimir said, is it cheaper to gesso your own canvas board, either in a roll or with your own board, or buy canvas packs, single canvases on the Frederick, like the one that Frederick sells? So for me, I always found that it was cheaper to, and people have argued with me that worked at the art store, and I'm like, because you know how when you wrap, okay, imagine wrapping a Christmas present. You've got that roll of paper, and you cut out the size that you need for the size that you're working on, and you end up with this excess paper that you throw away. Excess canvas happens too. It's going to be very similar. And so when you factor in the amount of time it costs to do it, the amount of time to gesso it, the amount of time to do all that, I found that just buying the canvas straight out on sale, so I don't pay full price. I would go like here, if you're in North Texas, you've got Azel Art Supply. Their Frederick's canvases are always 50% off. So it was cheaper for me to do that than to stretch them on my own. So that's what I found. Now, depending on where you're buying and what the prices are, that's going to fluctuate. But I was wasting too much canvas when I was cutting my own. So, I mean, if you need certain sizes, very, very odd sizes, then obviously stretching on your own is going to be the better way to go. But I just get them pre-stretched and gessoed now. Let's see. Tija said, I am trying to increase my sellable pieces. I spent 2 years pulling off Pinterest for studies, and now I'm wanting to get my name out there. Pulling off Pinterest. I'm not sure what you're saying there. And locally and prep for cons and shows. I'm not sure if my brain, it's mush right now, and I'm not sure where the question is in that one. So I'm sorry. I don't know how to answer that. Unless that was just in addition to the other one. I'm really tired right now. Can you tell? Angela said, I've been painting like a tornado lately, and everything sento a stop. Whole house has been sick. Now my creativity has gone stagnant. What to do to jolt it back into life? Thanks. I like to find something I'm excited to paint or draw. Something like right now, I'm super excited about this cat. And so that right now gets my interest up. Get a sketchbook out and start sketching random things. Like right now, I'm on Pixabay. So let's say I want kind of an out of focus. I'm going to do just some random background. I don't know. Let's try, I'm trying to think what colors will work with that. Let's try clouds. I don't know. Let's see what a space scene would look like behind this kitty. I don't think this is going to work, but it shows you how we can try different backgrounds out. Oh, apparently I have a whole thing for cool little spacings. Let's go with here. But if you go onto Pixabay, sometimes that would be a good place to go to find reference photos, or to find cool, where am I looking? Things that motivate you. And I think the bigger thing is, don't wait. If you're sitting around and waiting to be in the mood to paint, you're waiting for that inspiration to hit you. It's not going to find you. What is the saying? Inspiration will find you working. You need to get to that easel and start drawing, even if you're not in the mood. You just tell yourself, I'm going to draw from 8 to 9 tonight. I'm going to get that done. That's all I need to do. But that's how you're going to start coming up with ideas that you get excited about. If you're not heading over to the easel, if you're not spending time there, you're not going to feel motivated. That's never going to hit. You're just going to be sitting around waiting. Like, there's one of the things that a lot of artists do, they seem to think that there's like this magic fairy dust that needs to hit them. The moon has to be in the right location. This looks terrible. This isn't going to work. The moon, the sun has to be aligned, and it's some magical thing. And you have to just be in the mood to be creative. I can't do it if I don't have that whatever. That's not really how it works. How it works is, it's not terrible. It's not amazing either. But how it works is that you go find something, you draw it, and when you're working on something, let's say I pick up just find a picture of an apple to work from. Sketch that out. Maybe then as you're working on it, ideas start to form. What if I drew an octopus holding this apple? Now that seems kind of more excited. And those thought processes, that being inspired, being excited, that happens the more you work, the more you paint and draw. It doesn't just happen because you're waiting for that inspiration to hit. It's almost never going to hit. You have to go do it. And then the inspiration, then you start getting excited. But you just have to make yourself do it first. That doesn't work. Let's see what else we've got. Let's see. Oh, thank you, Kyle. Kyle gave me a super chat. He says, come on, everybody, hit that like button. It really helps out the channel and helps others to find it. Yeah, if you can like this video, share this video helps a lot. Like, even if you share it and the people you share it with don't ever watch it, the fact that you shared it, YouTube's like, oh, more people will want to watch it, and YouTube will let other people, like my subscribers, know that I had a new video go up. So if you can like, comment, share, all of that really is one of the most helpful things you can do for me. Let's see. Spirit Fine Art said, have you ever used Saatchi art to sell your art? I have not. I don't even know what that is. I don't even think I said that right. Getting followers is, yeah, that was it. Yeah, this is what it is. Joseph quoted it correctly. Inspiration exists, but it has to find you working. Pablo Picasso. And that is just so, so true. You have to, and if you can set like a schedule, like every Friday night or well, for me, it's pretty much every night, I'm going to hit that easel for at least, from, let's say, 8 p.m. until midnight, until 1 in the morning. And sometimes I'll go longer than that. More often than not, I go longer than that. But if I just tell myself, this is what I'm doing, this is the time that I'm going to do it, that really will help. This looks like the cheesiest, like, 80s folder art. This looks terrible right now. That background is not going to happen. Nope. Let's start. I'm probably going to go with a solid, like a gradient, like what I did with the lion. Actually, let's try that. Let's go with a layer. Let's add a layer here. And we're just about done, but let's just do a quick... trying to think what I want to do. So let's see what happens if I do a gradient. Ooh, that's pretty. That, I think, is what I'm going to do as a gradient here. And I'll probably pull... Actually, let's see if I can. Let's do this. Where is the paintbrush? Thanks, 1SGWW. Thank you for everything you do for everyone. You're awesome. Thank you so much. Let's see. We've got... I know you love stars. How about a window? I think a window's going to draw too much attention. Whatever I do in the background has to be out of focus, but I think that I'm just going to go, actually maybe even a bokeh background, but probably even not that. I think that's going to be too much here. Saatchi Art is an online catalog for buyers and artists to sell their art to an international market. I do not want to sell internationally. I mean, so it's not the selling internationally that's the problem. It's shipping internationally is just so expensive and such a thing. So it's not for me, definitely. T just said, my brain is mushy too. I think I had intended to ask you a question, but didn't manage to ask it. And now I don't even remember. Oh, you are just like me. I definitely have that in common with you. Ford Farm Studio said, yes, it does. And I have a star background behind a tiger folder from the 80s or 90s. Yeah, we're not going that way. Let's see. Is it bad to be trying all different mediums? I'm still in the process to try everything, which I find hard to gain an audience since it comes across maybe messy or having no style. Any advice? I try lots of mediums. I mean, I work in things all the time. The thing with lots of mediums, people will use the example of, or the saying, to be a jack of all trades is to be a master of none. Well, sure, I'm not going to be a master violinist and a master artist and a master, I don't know, cook. I have no interest in cooking, so that doesn't even matter. But that's not going to you're not going to be a master of all those things. But art is art. It doesn't matter if you work in oils and acrylics and colored pencil or all of them. Your certain rules are going to be the same as far as where are my lights, where are my darks, which lines are going to be soft, which lines are going to be hard. These things, understanding those things, composition, it's going to be the same no matter what medium. So really, those elements are the hardest things about learning art. Learning to use a medium really doesn't take that long. It's learning the other sides. Again, which lines are going to be soft or hard? Where is your contrast, your composition, all of that? How is the balance of your overall piece? Those are the things that are going to be harder to learn and take the longest time, but you're going to learn that no matter which medium you're working in. So I see nothing wrong with using multiple mediums. Stacy said, just bought a small set of Derwent Inktense and I wanted to know what other medium can I use with them. You can put colored pencil on top of them, but don't put Inktense on top of colored pencil. But yeah, colored pencil, ink, like gel pens, that sort of thing you could use. Ink, like black actual ink, if you want harsh lines, that works as well. Okay, let's see if I can. That is going to be way too small. Whoops. Whoops, too dark. Undo. That undo button needs to be, crap, I forgot I haven't reset. I just installed Photoshop, so crap. That isn't doing undo. Why are you not doing undo? That is weird. What did I do wrong here? All my settings are just not right now. Okay, well then we'll do this. I can fix that by color matching you, and we'll just go back and fill you in then. That's not the button I wanted. Why is that not working? What layer am I on? I don't even know what layer I'm on. Yeah, because layers are no layers are oh. What layer am I working on? You. You're still not working. Layer for this one, okay. That's not what I wanted anyway. You're what I wanted. Okay, we'll fill that in that way. There we go. That was scary. Okay, I need to change the opacity because I need to pay attention to what I'm doing. Not paying attention. Let's go a little bit darker again. Let's see if that works now. Yeah, here we go. Oh, those are too harsh. The undo button, or undo, is not working for me here. Am I erasing? I'm doing something stupid. Like, I'm going to go back and watch this video and be like, what? It was so obvious what was going on wrong there. Why did you not figure that out? This is not what I wanted to do. Let's just use it this way. Okay, let's try just darken it up a little bit. Thanks, Angela. Angela said, I love watching your YouTube. You're such a huge help. Thank you so much. Ford's Farm Studio said, how about out of focus underside of water, the light ripples, and then that's not a bad idea. Let's try, I'm trying to think if I've got any. Let's just go to Pixabay and look at an underwater thing. I actually think that's not terrible. Maybe ocean underwater, or even like something like this, but with more detail. Let's just see if, ooh, that's neat. What do we have? I'm so adding jellyfish to this. I need to add that in still. That's neat, but I think the upper section would be too bold. Maybe if I just let a little of the upper section show. Okay, let's try this, just as a quick thing. Green aurora borealis for the background. Looking at Penny's eyes, possibly. That might work, but I think that still would end up being a bit too 80s, which is not what I want. For this one, anyway. Farm Studio, go to your old computer, save your workspace in Photoshop, and then import that workspace into your new computer's Photoshop. Oh, I already got, my old computer is not easy to access at this point, so that's not happening, unfortunately. That would have been a good idea. But I didn't do it. So, okay, let's see. What if we add water in the background? That's an interesting look, but not so much with the white. Let's stretch that out. Maybe. I don't know. That's interesting for sure. What if we darken that a lot? Or went with like darker greens? Almost like with what the lion had, I'm thinking is probably... what am I... Oh, you're not hitting the right button. Let's see. What was I just going to do? I was going to do something. I don't remember now. What do I'm tired. I just need to stop messing with this for a while. This is definitely not going to be what I go with. But let's see if we go a little bit more green and way darker. She needs to be against a dark background. Yeah, I don't think I really want a background. I think just dark, like a gradient of, let's do, is it this button that I want? Nope, that's not the button I want. This button? Nope. 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 Where is the thing with the thing? Gradient. Yes, you. You are what I want. And no. Okay, what gradient should I go with? I want to go with from black, you know, really dark at the bottom. So we'll just go darker. And I want the lighter color. Let's go... kind of a muddy... Let's see what happens if I do that. I think I'm doing this backwards. Yep, I did that backwards. Other way around. Yeah, we'd need more fish or more something. Black's, or that green's not going to be the right color. Let's see, more blue maybe? Too blue. Gray blue? It's a little better. Yeah, I think I'm just going to go with a solid, simple background on this. I just need to figure out which colors, and I still need to then add in to add depth. So I have to decide, do I want to have a shadow behind the fish? Do I want it to look like a flat wall, which is probably what I'm going to do? Yeah, it's going to be a wall. Maybe a stone wall. So many options. I'm going to mess with that later. Let me make sure, get caught up on questions before we end. Let's see. We've got, is this my cat? No, it is not. This cat belongs to Than from Tidal Gardens. This painting is going to be for him. I keep looking over here. My camera's over here. This is, yeah, I'm doing great tonight. Solar Sunset, how's your health now? I have the joints bone fused, and I recently turned to pescatarian. Oh, pescatarian. I can't talk at all. No, I'm doing really good as long as I keep my diet under control, so which I've been doing mostly okay with lately. I ate all the carbs ever a couple of weeks ago for like 3 weeks in a row. I paid for it. I'm feeling better now that I got back to normal. Dark tealish might work. How about just dark with light rays and bubbles coming from somewhere? That may work too. That's something that I'll definitely play with in a bit. That's actually probably a really good idea. Especially if I do a little bit of maybe a texture on the wall. I'm not sure. Definitely we'll have bubbles. Without a doubt we'll have bubbles. Anyway, we are 10:12. I need to go take my dogs on a walk and eat dinner. So, whoops, there we go. Thank you guys so much for joining. I will have, hopefully, whatever the background is going to be on this, I'll post on Instagram. I'll have that done, hopefully, within the next few days. And then I can start on all the details, all the fun stuff. So thank you guys so much for joining. Again, make sure to check out our moderators' channels. And if you're interested in these coral reference or coral photos that I'm using here, those, let's pull that back up. Where are my photos? I lost my Photoshop. There it is. The photos that I'm using for the coral, this comes from Tidal Gardens. He's got a Patreon photo or Patreon group, Patreon page. I'm so tired. That will, he's got all these photos came from there. You get tons and tons of like the highest quality coral reference photos you can find anywhere. So definitely want to check that out too. Again, thank you so much for joining, and I will talk to you guys next week when I will probably be actually working on this project. So thank you again. Bye.